Hey guys, I'm Ash.
I'm Elle.
We are Lavi Cosplay.
This is Shit Cosplayers Say, the International Cosplay League episode that you all have been waiting for. We're still in Spain.
We are still in Spain. We're recording in our hotel room.
That's right, the night before we fly back to the United States, but we know better than to wait till we come back because it won't get done.
So sorry to all of our neighbors.
Yes, because we unfortunately brought the wrong microphone for this. Because we should have brought our dual setting microphone and we bought our single setting microphone, so
it was tiny.
We have to be a lot louder than we probably would like to at this time of night into this microphone, because otherwise the program is not going to pick us up. So we're going to try to do this as quickly as we can.
I mean, it's quality over quantity.
That is also true, because we pared this down for you. We will be splitting this into 2 episodes. So one episode just about Japan Weekend and ICL, and then another episode about everything else. Because we thought all of it in one episode was just too much.
Too much.
And you don't want all the in-between stuff in between all the ICL info, because you really just want the ICL info.
Yes.
I mean, let's be honest.
We know.
You all just want the ICL info.
We all know why you're here. Don't lie to yourself. You don't care about our vacation.
No, but you're going to hear about it anyway, because we need time to get our shit together. So...
Well, you're not wrong.
And it's our show. Therefore, we get to do whatever the hell we want.
I mean, you're also not wrong. Because we're cosplayers and we say shit. And that's the show.
That's the show.
Yep.
You all know this by now. You're in season 3. If you don't, there's a problem. So, we flew in last Thursday to Spain on a between 7 and 8 hour flight. We arrived the Thursday before the convention.
At like 8 o'clock in the morning.
And I was very confused by the time adjustment.
Yeah. I spent the first 3 days walking around going, okay, now what time is it at home? Before I finally decided I just don't care.
So mistake 1 was made by deciding to come in the Thursday when we had requirements that evening and an entire suitcase full of cotton to iron.
And silk. It's not just cotton.
So, poor choices were made because we didn't realize that there wasn't going to be any time to actually do anything with our costumes. So we arrived and our room wasn't ready for 4 more hours. So we had to go wander around the mall, only to find out that you cannot use the steamer in the adapter because it will blow up.
Yeah.
So then we had to go back to the mall and get a European steamer. So now we have a European steamer for any time we actually come back.
That just obviously means that we have to come back to Europe.
Obviously.
Because we have an 18-euro steamer now.
We do have an 18-euro steamer that we will place upon a shelf until the next time one of us does an international in Europe or takes a vacation to Europe and needs a steamer.
Yeah, because rather than just cutting our losses at the 18 euro, we're definitely going to have to justify coming back being like, but we have the steamer, so we have to.
It's also a really nice, portable steamer, and I'm a little sad I can't use it. Because it's way better than the, little chintzy ones that we usually have.
I mean, it's 220.
Yeah, I can't use that.
Oh, you don't have 220 in your house.
No. I don't. It's just gonna sit on a shelf like a trophy until we can, use it again. It's gonna hang out.
Do we need to etch it a little plate?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. The ICL steamer.
Yes.
That saved us all.
Oh. Well, and so unlike other hotels that we've stayed in, there was also no iron and ironing board in the room. So luckily, we went down to the front desk and were able to procure an iron and ironing board. But unfortunately, it was a half-sized ironing board and it had no stand. So we had to sit it on top of a suitcase as a makeshift stand so we're not ironing on the bed or the floor.
So note, do not choose a costume for an international that has 9 skirts that you have to iron and steam. Because you're never going to have time to do either if you are also in a performance category.
Well,
You're not going to have time.
It's fine.
But we did eventually get in our room due to the amazing Ruth, who was fabulous. She was the coordinator for ICL this year.
Yes.
And we would not have survived without Ruth.
Bless Ruth.
Bless Ruth. Ruth is fabulous. TSA did not touch our stuff at all.
They didn't open it.
They didn't open the suitcase. So everything got here fine. We'll let you know what happens on the way back.
Right? TBD.
Everything got here just fine. Nothing was messed with. Didn't have to worry about anything being broken, outside of the wigs kind of being a hot mess. So we'll have to find a better way to transport.
Friction.
Yeah, they were really hard to fix afterward. So they definitely looked a lot messier than they should have from being folded up into the suitcase. So we're going to have to figure out. So I guess wigs are probably always going to have to be a carry-on. And that's just how it's going to have to be. In like a hat box or something, because otherwise they just get too messy. Yeah. Being folded. Even if they're wigs that like theoretically should have been able to be folded into a suitcase, it didn't work. They were really frizzy and really hard to fix. That's going to be a no for another time.
On to happier news, though. We did get to partake in a siesta on Thursday.
Yeah, we did finally get a little sleep, but I want to say we basically got no sleep between Thursday and Saturday, so it started to get rough. Yeah, I was not doing so hot because I hadn't had any sleep, and then no sleep makes my anxiety worse, and I get crankier because I desperately need sleep, and my body is hurting because I need sleep, and everything gets 10 times worse then, so.
As the person that has to deal with it, I agree with all of those statements.
Yep. I'm pretty sure it was Gale who called me high-strung. He's not wrong. I'm working on it, Gale. I'm better when I've actually had sleep. But, between Thursday and Saturday, I had, 6 hours.
So the ultimate decision, though, is that the next time we need to come a whole day earlier.
Yes.
So we can get the ironing done, the wigs primed, and get proper rest before everything else.
That solves the problem, and then I won't be so high-strung anyway, because now I understand how everything works.
Yeah.
So it's not as, also we won't have waited 3 years to go, so you don't have that pressure of you waited 3 years, so you better not fuck up, because I was feeling that. By Thursday, Friday.
It's fine.
Of, oh my god, we waited 3 years, so we better not make asses of ourselves on stage because everyone's going to be like, well, why the hell did we wait this long for this team USA to get on stage when they suck?
Yikes.
Yeah. It's fine now, though.
It's fine now.
It's fine. We didn't suck, so it's okay.
Spoiler alert, we didn't suck.
So Thursday, we got to have the meet and greet with the other teams at this really cute sushi train restaurant.
Oh my god, it's adorable.
It's adorable. There's pictures on the Instagram. It's so cute.
It was delicious. Our booth we shared with Team France, and yes, sushi train. We swapped candies with everybody. Godzilla was there. There was graffiti all over the bathrooms. That was really fun.
The bathrooms were really cool.
Yeah.
There were, what do they call them? Capsule toys that we couldn't actually get, and I was mad.
They were only for display. It was so tragic.
It was horribly upsetting. I couldn't understand how they had all the really good ones until I realized it was just a display, and then I was upset.
Yes, I was like, but I want to put money in it.
I was like, where are the euros? Can I put money in here? No.
And it said no. They also had this really neat display of Game Boy cartridges.
Yeah, that was fun on the wall.
Yeah.
And we got to meet Gale, who is the coordinator, the master coordinator of ICL, who is also part of Team Spain for GCOF and is in Korea right now.
Yes.
Go Gale.
Go Gale.
Gale is fabulous, and we love him. And we're going to have to bring him all the surprises if we ever come back.
Yes.
You've been warned, Gale.
We're scheming already.
There's things that will come back to you.
All I'm saying is that eventually, when we see you again, we also need to get UK there.
Yes. Yes, because we'll have to smuggle UK back too.
Shenanigans.
Shenanigans.
So many shenanigans.
We need more shenanigans. So, Friday, we went on a quote-unquote walking tour. It was not walking. It was a power walking tour.
I mean, we did walk rather quickly as a very large group. We had to stop a couple times when people, I won't say they got lost, but we had to stop a couple times so people could catch up.
So, again, bad decisions were made, and I probably should have... I was too preoccupied with literally everything else in life to think, I should ask them how this walking tour is going to go and get an itinerary, and if it's going to end up too much, I should find out if there's somewhere else for me to go. Because the problem was, you, 1, couldn't go to lunch, but 2, there was no good way to get to rehearsal unless you went on the walking tour. So we didn't want to have to try to figure out how to get to rehearsal if we didn't go on the tour. But I had been warned previously that it was a bit of a walk. Now, it turns out this was much more than what they did in 2019. But had I known, I would have been like, I'm going to sit at this cafe and I'll meet y'all at lunch.
Yes. Because
I should not have done that. It was a poor choice. Because it was also extremely hot. And there was no water. So it was very hot. There's no water, and my body is killing me because it was on a plane.
No sleep.
No sleep. Now we're walking for 3 hours at a power walk pace through Madrid, and then I'm expected to get on stage and rehearse. So we'll be finding another option if we ever come back, because that's definitely not something I'm going to be able to do in my 40s, because we can't come back before that. So, yeah, mistakes were made.
I mean... But we did go to lunch. It was at the Museum of Meat.
It was at the Museum of Meat.
It was delicious. And they just kept bringing more food. So we're all like, oh, we're so full. And they're like, that was just the first course. We're like, what?
Well, because they didn't tell us that it was a multiple course meal. So we had no idea, like, whether or not this, like, first plate of stuff was just all we were eating or not. And then we come to find it's like 3 courses, and we're like, yeah, we can't eat that.
Oh my goodness, there was so much food.
It was way too much food.
It was delicious, but there was so much food.
It was. I think Team Germany agreed with us.
Yes.
That it was just way more food than anyone could ever eat.
By the time we got to the last course, we're like splitting it amongst multiple people and then only taking like 2 bites. I mean, you're like, yes, it's delicious. No, I can't eat anymore.
So then we got to go to rehearsal. Which the ICL stage is actually like a real size stage. I know we don't have. So the Europeans were very shocked by the fact that 1, we don't typically have a real size stage. 2, we don't get video behind us for our competitions. And 3, we usually can't have an actual set, which means we get the square in the background, as they call it, which is usually all we're allowed to have at our contests.
Well, because you have to carry it on yourself.
Right. And that was also very mind-boggling to a lot of them, was the fact that, like, we're expected to set our sets ourselves, and there's not, like, stagehands to do it.
Obviously, it depends on the con, but...
Right. So, of course, their regular contest was more epic than anything we've seen, at least in the Midwest. I hear the East Coast is a little bit closer to what we saw in Spain, but... They also have cons that allow you to have video in the background and actual sets.
It's been like a decade since I've been to a con on the East Coast, so...
Yeah, well, Yeah. So we got to rehearse, and that's about the only time we really got to watch the performances, because there was no good way to do it during the show.
Yes.
So we really haven't been able to see everybody's performances till we've gone back and watched them on video. Because... there was just no good way to do it, and they kind of expected you to start tearing your stuff down after you were done. Which we will get to my shock of that, because I missed an entire important detail that I didn't completely understand. That would have been nice to have already understood, but hey, it's okay. We did get to meet our helper.
We had somebody assigned to us for the entire weekend.
Yes, to just assist us with, like, where things were and grab us food so we didn't have to wait in the super long line and that kind of stuff. So our helper was Eothen Cosplay, who happened to be half of Team Spain 2019. He was lovely and very helpful. And then we also got to watch him kick ass in the Sunday contest, is The Witcher.
Yes, he was Geralt.
With his friend Dedaldo. That was really fun. That was very enjoyable.
Yes.
They're both very talented individuals. Highly enjoyable. He's great. He was excellent help with Jess. And we were pretty low maintenance for most of the weekend, but, he did the important thing, like get us food and make sure we got to where judging was. So, hey.
Yes.
He did the thing. So,
Well, and it was really nice because all the helpers and the staff members had a group chat going. So they were able to keep us apprised as to, like, if judging was running behind or if it was running early, so that we could plan accordingly.
yeah, it ran late and then ran early. So that was fun.
I mean, it's all good.
It's fine. By the end of Friday, we had befriended Team UK, Team France, Team Spain, Team Mexico, and Solo Germany, who is also having nothing of any of this nonsense. Because one of the things that happened on... Oh, that was Thursday. So I forgot something about Thursday. We got stranded by our bus.
Our bus driver abandoned us.
So we don't still know exactly what happened. But the bus, so we were using a bus to get back and forth, and the bus driver claims he was there and we didn't show up, but we were there. And then the bus company just wouldn't send anyone.
Yes.
So they had to get cabs for us.
And there's like 40 of us, so...
So Meruna sees the first cab that comes up and she's like, "We're gonna take the cab!" So we ran. But we were first talking about hijacking the bus and being bus pirates.
Yes, because there was a bus that was empty with no driver.
So instead, we hijacked the taxi and became taxi pirates.
With Solo Germany and Solo Spain.
Yes, because at that point, I was done with everything.
Yes.
It was like 1 a.m. I was over it. The whole time I'm sitting there going, oh my god, we have so much to prep for our costumes, and now we have 0 time.
So much ironing.
Because I was very jealous of the amount of time that the solos had to prep all their stuff.
Well, that's because they didn't have rehearsal.
And they didn't have to go on the walking tour.
Right, because they didn't have rehearsal.
Right. And I was very jealous because, honestly, the duo costumes weren't any less complicated than some of the solo costumes. So equal amounts of prep required if you have fabric. I was stressed.
Sleep is for the weak.
So all it tells us is don't bring so much fabric because you're not going to have time to prep it. So make sure not everything needs to be prepped because you're not going to have time. That's what I learned.
Forever.
That's what I've learned. Do not take things that are going to require a ton of prep unless you go the day before because you are not going to have time to do it.
It just needs to be small enough that it can fit on the baby-sized ironing board, or it can be steamed in the shower.
Yeah, so if you bring a ball gown, be warned that you are going to probably need to come, and if you're in a duo. So if you're in a duo and you bring a ball gown, you may need to come early or you're not going to have time to, like, iron.
So the one thing I will say, though, is bring hangers.
Mm-hmm.
Because this hotel has the theft-proof hotel hangers. But if you bring real hangers, you can hang things in the shower while it's running, and then the steam will help get rid of a lot of it.
That is how we solved a lot of this problem because it was so wrinkled from being in the suitcase that we would not have had anywhere to start if we would have just used an iron and a steamer. We had to hang them in the shower and try to pull out as much as possible because it never would have gotten done.
Well, and I ironed all 9 skirts, like, right before they went in the suitcase.
Yeah, it made no difference because they were a disaster.
I mean,
because cotton.
It might have made a difference.
It might have, but just be warned with what you bring because if you are in a duo, you will not have a ton of time to prep your costume, so you will need to make sure you come in the day before if you have a lot of fabric. And you are coming from the United States, which is a long flight.
Well, and if you need a steamer, if you go to the mall, there's a store called FNAC.
Yes.
And they sell electronics.
Here's the deets. Do not bring any appliance that does not have a temperature adjustment on it. Because if it does not have a temperature adjustment, it will explode.
Yeah, it boiled really fast and tried to shoot hot water on us.
So things like a straightening iron or an iron or a hairdryer are fine because they have settings.
The hairdryer depends.
Well, the hairdryer depends. Because so don't bring a hairdryer
It tried to burn my hairdryer, but it did not try to burn the other one.
So, like, our flat iron was fine.
My curling iron was fine.
Because they have temperature settings. Things that do not have temperature settings may burn or explode. So, like, we dragged a bunch of equipment with that is now taking up a ton of room in our suitcase that we can't use. Word to the wise. don't even bother because you're not going to be able to use it.
I feel
buy
like
one here.
Next time, yes. We'll just buy one.
Well, and honestly, the steamer was cheaper than an adapter.
Yes.
So, like,
and we
just
had
get a steamer.
adapters, but it obviously wasn't working.
It wanted to explode. Well, and my computer works, too, in the adapters, but that's because my computer block is coded for this level of voltage, so it's fine.
Yes.
But, yeah, pay attention to the level of voltage for your item, and if it does not have a temperature gauge, don't even try. Don't bring it. It's going to be a waste of suitcase space. That's what we learned. We have a lot of wasted suitcase space right now of tools we can't use. But hey, now we know. So we survived the walking tour, the rehearsal with no sleep. We still have no sleep at this point.
Sleep is for the weak.
We actually, was it Friday that we ended up taking a taxi back so we could actually, like, be back at a reasonable hour?
I think that was Saturday.
That was Saturday. Well, Friday we chose not to go to dinner so we could iron.
Yes.
Because at this point we still hadn't done it. So.
And I was still ironing by the time that they got back from dinner.
Yes. So
hours later.
We did not go to dinner so we could iron. Again, poor choice for an international. Never again.
So much fabric.
Never this much fabric.
So much fabric.
Because unless you're going, you know for sure you're going to have time for ironing for hours. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Just don't do it. Armor's way easier because you don't have to iron it. So on the day of the show, we all had to leave at 9 a.m. regardless of when your judging was.
Yes. That was the quote-unquote late bus.
Yes. But they had places for us to be and to change and everything there. So it wasn't like we had to go over in our costumes. They just wanted to make sure everybody was over there and accounted for.
Yes.
So
backstage, we all had our own bay that was labeled with our teams where we could set all of our stuff and our props. And in addition to that, we had like a private room that had dressing rooms and mirrors and tables and chairs and couches and beverages and snacks in it. And this was all backstage. But then in an adjacent building upstairs, we had a VIP room that had private bathrooms, more snacks, first aid stuff, costume quick fix items. We went and scouted that out with Team UK and claimed it as our own. At like the colonizers we are.
Bless whoever decided to add that VIP room, because thank you, Igwig Cosplay, for warning me about the noise. I would have died. So I bought noise-canceling earbuds back in 2019 when Wig warned me that the backstage was extremely loud and I wasn't going to be able to handle it. And Wig Small was not wrong. I would not have been able to handle it. There would have been no way. It was so... The con itself was so loud that I actually wore them most of the day, Saturday and Sunday, in general. Bless whoever decided to add that room upstairs, because I don't know what I would have done. I would have been so overloaded that I don't even know if I would have heard our audio for a performance. Because that has happened to me before, where we've been stuck at a con for a long time before we have to perform, and then I can't hear our audio because I'm just too overstimulated by auditory input at that point. It was rough. I wasn't the only one either. Multiple people had noise-canceling earbuds in. It's apparently not super uncommon to do, because we had a couple contestants that were running around with them in. But that VIP room was a saving grace, because I don't think I would have made it. We all went on and did the thing. We will post a link for the show in its entirety when it is posted, but Japan Weekend has not added it to the YouTube yet, so it is not currently existing. My understanding is the channel is Cosplay, which is Cosplay, on YouTube, has each skit uploaded individually, so you can watch them individually that way. But we do not have a video in its entirety as of today, which is the 28th of September. As of right now, it does not exist.
No.
It's possible the Twitch might still be up since it was just last weekend, and Twitch usually holds for 2 weeks. But a lot of the audio is missing from the Twitch due to copyright.
Gasp.
So you have to go to YouTube to hear all the audio. So a bunch of people's audio is missing because it's directly from the source material, which is common in Europe. So don't be confused. That's actually what you're supposed to do. So,
yeah.
I know a lot of places won't let us do it here, but it is what you're supposed to do in Europe. We did judging. Our judging time was 11 minutes.
It went by so fast.
And it felt like it was over in an instant. My wig is very complicated, so it does take a bit of an explanation. We were surprised when it was, like, over already.
We got through everything, though.
Yeah, we got through everything. Our judges were Mistvein Akrcos Bambilashes. who we will post. Everybody who gets mentioned, as usual, their handles will be posted.
So many tags.
If
Go
it
follow
gets,
all of them.
If it gets too long and the show notes gets mad at me, there'll be an abbreviated version, and then there will be screen caps of the list in the Instagram post as photos, as we've done before, because also Instagram gets pissed off when I tag too many people. So people have to get tagged in the comments and in the main body of the post because it gets angry that I'm tagging so many people. The show order and what everyone did. Poland. Solo was Assassin's Creed. They did Ezio? Something. They did Assassin's Creed. So Poland Solo was the main character from Assassin's Creed, and their cosplay handle is Assassinscreedtrip. The duo was Bisz and Talon as a guard and blood mage from Elder Scrolls V, also known as Skyrim. Brazil. Solo was Tsukino as Persephone from Oro Kingdom. And then duo Mexico! Because we can only say Mexico like that now ever since Twin Cosplay went to WCS and won literally every award.
It was these guys.
Was it these guys?
It was Banana. It was Banana.
So since we have to say Mexico ever since Banana Cosplay went to WCS and won literally every award.
I mean, pretty close.
Pretty close. So now every time we say Mexico, it's Mexico! Like the announcer from WCS.
Please?
But, so Bananacosboys was Team Mexico, who a lot of you are probably very familiar with, Luis and Lalo. I would think. They've been around for a while. Yeah. But they did Aang and Zuko from Avatar. And, acrobatics. It is a circus display. It's quite entertaining.
Sure.
Italy, Solo was Aylinlab. They did Ally from Horizon Forbidden West. The Italy duo was Barubara and Gabezoid. They did Anna, her Pharaoh skin, and then Soldier 76 Slasher skin from Overwatch. They did some really cool things with the screen.
Yeah. And,
recording their shadows. So it was almost like a shadow, play kind of thing in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Which was a really fun way to do something that needed to be censored. Which was just really kind of cool.
Yes.
I hadn't seen anybody try to do that before, so that was really fun.
Switzerland Solo was Nehrylka as Tyrande from World of Warcraft. The duo was Chiisana and Nijiko as Drizella and Anastasia from Cinderella.
This made me so happy.
So happy.
Because I figured out exactly what they were doing just by, the back of her dress. And I was like, oh my god, they're going to do Sisters from Cinderella, please.
Please.
And they were adorable.
Yes. Obviously, we were USA duo. Our teammate was C80 Thingamabobs as the Hannah Alexander artwork of Zelda. Number 6 was France. So the solo was Cutie Cosplay as Artorias, the Abyss Walker from Dark Souls. And the duo was Neoliko and Neko Magica. They were a bard and an orc from World of Warcraft. And they did the 15-year anniversary song, and it was amazing.
This might be the best performance I've seen in a long time. It was so good.
It was, and they're just such fun and animated people.
Yes. Well, and I'm pretty sure they're playing their playable characters from the game.
Which is just better.
Which just makes it 10 times better. But this might be the most perfect blend of a performance that I've seen in a long time. It was fabulous.
Yes.
So Ukraine, the solo was lauveya as Lagertha from Vikings Valhalla. The duo was Cheshire and Orion, and they did Sakuzo Alice in Wonderland. The one dress was literally as big as the stage.
Oh my goodness, it was so big.
It was humongous.
They were putting the hoop skirt together in the back, and I was like, oh my god.
I think it took them, multiple hours just to get dressed. And then the poor girls couldn't move, so they just had to sit backstage.
Yes, they had the stools that you sit underneath of your dresses.
But both gowns were absolutely stunning. But literally, the queen's dress took up the entire stage. It was quite impressive. Germany. Solo was Meruna cosplay as Yuria from Dark Souls 3. The duo was Shusei and Rentao as Bert and Mary Poppins from Mary Poppins. And we, of course, sang along during rehearsal with the entire song because we had to. So us, Mexico, and UK are sitting there singing along because we obviously had this when we were little. And all three groups are just like singing the song with them as they're dancing on stage. It's pretty hysterical, I'm not gonna lie. Portugal. The solo is Leoworkstation as Farusa Barosu from Monster Hunter. So my understanding is this Monster Hunter armor is from one of the older games. But it's kind of like a big red demon armor. It's very detailed.
I think it's technically a wyvern.
Is it?
Yeah, like a dragon.
Oh, it's a dragon? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense, given the design.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we didn't get to see a lot of everybody's stuff because you're very busy in this whole process. So and I didn't want to sit backstage all of Saturday because it was too loud.
Well, and there was no live stream, so we couldn't watch it while it was happening.
Well, there was a live stream. There was just nothing streaming to where we were.
Well, yes.
To be able to watch it.
There was no live stream to our green room.
Right. So the Portugal duo was Nameless Dreamer and Mayushii, and they did Bioshock 2. They were big sister and then little sister. And they were scary.
I
was scared.
Spain solo was Juggernauty, who wore a heavy infantry Mandalorian from Star Wars. And the duo was Destronia 2+, and they did Gothel and Rapunzel from Tangled. And I believe these were the designer doll versions.
Yes, these were the designer dolls. So they were the, like, extra fancy version.
Yes, and you guys commiserated over giant wigs.
That we did. Apparently Spain's was extraordinarily heavy, but mine was not. So everyone was very impressed by how little my wig weighed.
Yes. Our last team was UK, and the solo was Amazonian cosplay as Maria from the Assassin's Creed movie. And the duo was Captain Amelia and Carrie Kaz as Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker from Star Wars: The Clone Wars.
You should definitely watch this one. Their fighting was quite smooth. They did a really good job. Please stop hurting each other. But other than that, no, they definitely will talk more about UK. Obviously. But, this one's a must watch. Definitely go watch it. The surprise that Elle got was that I misunderstood that when they said award ceremony on Sunday, they meant they weren't going to tell us who won on Saturday.
Right. Which is not what happened in 2019.
Right.
Where they did the awards on stage after the concert.
So Gale eventually explained it to me, but basically because the con was going to close like less than 2 hours after we were done, they decided this year not to try to announce them right after because it would be rushing the judges too much. But I misunderstood, being my only basis for ICL being 2019, that I thought we were going to know, and then we did not, and I was super confused. Yes. I had no idea what we were supposed to do. I was like, why is everybody taking their stuff down? Why is everybody getting undressed? Like, are we supposed to get undressed? What is happening? Like, I was just so confused. But it's one of the many, 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 many things we missed, given that we had so many other things that weren't this to focus on in life. So, you know,
well, that's
shit
weird.
Happens. Sunday, we found out who won.
Third place solo went to Brazil. Third place duo went to
Mexico!
What?
Mexico!
And they got, they got cell phones.
Yes.
And
embroidery thread.
Embroidery thread. It was a Realme 8. Yes. I hope they work
in Mexico.
And Brazil.
I don't know if that's a thing or not.
Second place, they got Bernina's sewing machines.
Yes.
And they're so big. The boxes were giants.
Massive boxes. So second place solo went to Poland. And second place duo went to Poland. Poland's skit was really fun. They did a lot of screen tricks to match with their, like, the mage trying to trick the guard kind of thing. So it was very clever how they did it. You should watch it.
Yes.
You know, we're not going to tell you too much about these because you go watch
Just
them.
go watch them. But I do not envy the fact that they had to take these 3 giant sewing machine boxes home.
No, like, I don't quite know how they got them back, but I'm assuming they did, so.
First place solo, which was 1,000 euro, went to Switzerland. And the first place duo, which was 2,000 euro, went to France.
France!
And it was really cute because they didn't hear their names called. And they're just, like, clapping, for whoever won. They're
so,
like, yay!
I'm sitting on the floor below them because there were too many of us to fit on the stage. And obviously at this point, we become very good friends with France. And we'll talk about France. But at this point, we become very close with France. And I'm sitting there, and I look at Neoliko, and I'm like, you won. Go! Like, oh my god, what?
Yes.
Because they didn't think they had won.
Well, and it was just the cutest thing because, of course, us and some of the other teams had talked about it during rehearsals, and we're all like, France is going to take
this.
this.
We put our money on France right away.
Yeah, we put our money on France. We were like, Friday night.
If they can move like that in their armor, they're gold.
No question.
They're gold.
No question.
Before we left on Sunday, we had shenanigans at the UK because somehow we ended up at the convention really late.
That's because we just didn't want to leave.
I guess. Also, another thing we would change is we would book another night in the hotel that we were at for ICL instead of going to a new one because a lot of people stayed. And so a lot of people got to get together afterward, and we did not because we did not stay.
But it worked out, and we'll get to that.
It did work out. We'll get to it. So we were kind of running around, and, you know, we got to, like, actually, like, say hi to our judges. You actually say hi and be like, hey, thank you.
Yeah.
You know, so we got to thank them. You know, we were trying to run around and see people before we left. We were trying to find the UK because we knew they were there. And we ended up going up to the VIP room and finding them. And then they were like, okay, let's go get our stuff. And so we walk back down on to the floor, and Amazonian looks and goes, I wonder if we could have our banners. You know when you go to cons and they put those big, like, vinyl banners up? Ours were, like, what, 10 feet tall?
They're super tall.
They're huge. And UK and us shared one.
Yes.
With, like, the sponsors in the middle.
Yeah.
So most of them were split into 3, but we had the sponsors in the middle, right? And I just look at Amazonian, and I'm like, well, it's not gonna hurt if we ask Gale. They're gonna throw them out. And she's like, what? And I'm like, cons throw these out. They don't keep them. Like, in my experience of working for cons, we throw them out. Like, we can just ask. So she asks, and Gale goes, if you can figure out a way to get it down, you can have it. Well, I happen to have my huge scissors in our bag. And Amazonian, as her name suggests, is quite tall and was able to cut down our banner, which we then cut down and currently have packed in our suitcase.
Yes, we do.
The UK also took their banner. My understanding is Gale fully expected the UK to take this because he is aware of their shenanigans. But we still got a good WTF out of him.
Yes, we did.
But then the best part was when Poland realized you could take our banners. Poland Solo comes running and goes, I need a knife. And so I handed him my scissors, and he went running to the con floor to cut the banner down because they were taking things down and, like, taking stuff apart so that they could take it home. It was great.
It was good. It was
great.
It was
we have a lot of very silly photos of us in the space where our banner was.
Yes. We also did sign angels.
We did.
On the floor on top of our sign.
I definitely have a video of Amazonian cutting the banner down.
Yep.
Quality shenanigans were had.
We had a lot of good bonding time stealing things with the UK.
We did. So apparently the UK likes to steal things. This is a thing they've informed me of.
Oh.
They also have nonsense points of ridiculous things that you do.
I will preface that it's not stealing if you have permission.
That's true. This was not... we did hijack our banner, essentially.
Yeah.
We were banner pirates.
Banner pirates.
Banner pirates.
Sign pirates.
I mean, that's basically what happened. Honorable mentions to the people that we fully befriended this fabulous weekend. Team UK. What can we say about the UK? This weekend would not have been the same without you.
Yes. I miss you already.
Like, your level of chaos is what we needed in our lives to break the tension that we had from waiting 3 years to do this. So thank you for being there to give us shenanigans.
It was very memorable.
They were very memorable. The duo, so Captain Amelia and Akrcos, you guys need to keep an eye on them. Because they already do amazing things, and they're going to do super amazing things, and they're going to be people to watch. Keep an eye on them. They're going to be doing extra, I feel like, in the near future. They're both pretty young. They've got a lot of time ahead of them, so I expect some super amazing things, because they already do amazing things, so.
Yes. Amazonian is the UK representative for Crowd Championships, which are going to be held at MCM London. By the time this airs this month, it'll be towards the end of October. So now we have 2 friends in the contest.
That's right, which means we have to buy the pass so we can watch it.
Yes.
Because we need to cheer on for both our friends.
So we can cheer for the UK and the USA.
And now we have multiple internationals where we have multiple people to cheer for.
Yep.
Because Gale is part of Team Spain for G-Coff.
Yes.
So, and then we still have our Team USA.
Yes.
So,
well, and our Team USA was our organizers for ICL.
Yes, because when we went to ICL, Luna, Lady of Light, was still the organizer, and now she's back as the organizer again. So, yeah, it's wild. It's small world. Small world. We finally get to meet Spain. I had been chatting with Spain for a long time online. They were also selected when we were selected, so we kind of commiserated throughout this period of time. They have an energy that can be unmatched. They are a lot of fun. They bring a lot of joy wherever they go. We hope that we will see you again. But it was just nice to be able to see you finally. We got very excited at the greet when we could finally, like, see what each other look like.
Right.
Like, oh my god, it's you!
Well, and I feel like this is not our last trip across the pond.
Oh, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But no, we're hooked. We're completely hooked now. So it will not be the last time. Mexico! So Mexico was one of the video selections, so was UK and Germany, who we would not have had without that, which I think would have been a disservice to this contest,
it would
honestly.
have been a travesty.
But it was so wonderful to finally meet Bananacosboys. You know, they make me hope that maybe ICL will do, like, at least one online selection, because I think it really adds an important element to the contest for those that might be limited by a convention not being willing to have ICL.
Yeah. Sorry.
UK. Yes. MCM, what are you doing?
Read Pop
Y! But yes. So it was really nice to be able to talk to them. We've watched them for a long time as performers. You know, I had a really nice chat with the boys about performance, and they had some really lovely things to say about our performance skills, and it's always just nice to get that feedback from other performers.
Yeah.
You know, it's great to get that feedback from everyone, but, you know, from other performers, it's always really nice too.
Yeah. It's really nice to get that kind of validation from people that you respect.
Exactly. So obviously, we just have to take a vacation to Cancun.
I see no problems here.
So we can see the boys again. I hope you're enjoying Paris, because they went to Paris after they came here.
I mean, why not?
Because why wouldn't you? You're already over here. Solo, Germany. So, Meruna, we will miss you. We have been pointing out all the good dogs for you.
Yes.
As we've still been in Spain. But you were just such a welcome addition to our adventures. And almost like our little voice of reason that went everywhere with us.
I feel like she's probably scoffing at you right now.
She is probably scoffing at me right now. But she also takes no shit. And I have great respect for her.
Good.
For that. She also made me realize how terrible the United States treats its employees. But hey...
You just now figured that out?
It's really bad when someone in, like, Denmark explains to you whatever the shit they get in Denmark, and then you're just like, we get nothing. We will talk about in our Spain episode how Europe is superior to the United States, because it is. Let's be honest. It is. It just is. But of course, this trip would not have been the same without France, who, by some bizarro luck, ended up at a hotel 3 minutes from ours.
Yes. So we switched hotels to a completely different part of Madrid, which was actually close to where the walking tour was. And Elle just happens to like take a picture out our window and post it on Instagram and gets a message that says, "Hey, I think we're by you." And we're like, "What?"
They were, and then we went to a cafe, and we had food, and then we chatted, and then we felt like we all need to sleep, but we don't want to leave each other.
Yes.
It was very much a Midwest goodbye.
It was very much a Midwest goodbye, but it was so nice because we didn't get to say goodbye at the contest, and I thought that they maybe started their really long drive already.
Yeah, because they drove, so we thought maybe they had already started driving, because they had like a 10-hour drive, so.
Yeah. It was really long.
But yes, Neoliko and Neko Magica, this weekend would not have been the same without you guys.
Yes.
Like, these two are an absolute delight and have, like, the biggest hearts that I have ever seen.
It's very, very refreshing.
They are so positive and so welcoming, and they just want to have fun. They definitely were one of the highlights of our experience.
Absolutely.
So we just have to go to France, because otherwise we're going to miss them.
Again, I see no problem.
Yeah, there's no problem with this, right? We can go to France. Technically, it was cheaper to come here to Spain than some places in America.
Yep.
So our flight here was actually cheaper than a flight I had to take to the East Coast a couple months ago. So, I mean, and honestly, stuff's cheaper here. Might be a thing. We'll just go to Paris on a vacation.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. No, we'll see friends.
I could go live my miraculous dreams.
In terms of the contest, I know a lot of you were very concerned for us that we did not win, but, like, we're fine, guys.
Oh, yeah.
We're fine.
This is the most fulfilling contest experience I think I have ever had.
It's totally okay. Like, we're not upset. Saying I don't care isn't the right word, but it's more just, it's fine. Like, I don't feel a loss, if that makes sense.
I think it's more, not that you don't care, it's more of, like, acceptance.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me, I guess I should say.
Yeah.
Like, I agree with the judges. Like, we did what we could with what we had. Was what we had probably the best choice for this contest? No. But it is what we had, given the lives that we have and what was available to us. We didn't do a bad job. People enjoyed the performance.
Yeah.
No one had anything super negative to say to us. We did not make fools of ourselves. The judges thought my wig was cool.
Yeah.
The contestants thought my wig was cool. Ultimately, our goal here was to put on a good show. We still did that.
Absolutely.
But you have to consider that this is an entire show of basically best in shows. Everybody's good.
Right.
Like,
everybody already essentially won to come here.
Yes, everyone is really high quality. So you've got high quality people competing against each other for 3 spots. But I like it.
Yeah.
Because there's a challenge here. Like, it's pushing you to do more and look at what you're doing and see what you can change to do more and to be different and to do better. And we have not had that ever. Because it's been so long since we've been challenged. And granted, we stopped competing for a long time because pandemic. But, like, it's been a long time since we've felt that kind of fire and that challenge to create something new. Instead of sticking to our old format that we have. That tends to work in an American setting.
Well, and I know we're going to talk about this in the other episode, but I just like European style contests.
Yes.
From all the videos I've watched of pretty much any of them, I'm like, why can't our cons be like this in the States? And maybe there are cons in the States that are like that we just haven't been to, because obviously there are hundreds, if not thousands of conventions with cosplay contests, but yeah.
If you know of a contest in the United States that takes performance seriously and has any similarities to European contests, please let us know, because we might be interested. Because, yeah, I need something different than what we get in the Midwest. And this was definitely it. So, of course, now we're completely hooked. Because are we going to try to do another international? Of course we are.
Absolutely.
We put stupid amounts of effort into our stuff and might as well take it to an international first. If it doesn't work, then we'll take it somewhere else. YOLO. Because 2023 is the year of YOLO. Because if you don't try, you're never going to know.
Yes, you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take.
So we're also going to stop trying to make sure that things are absolutely perfect. Because nothing really can be. But if you just don't go, you definitely can't win. And I want to win another trip somewhere to meet more cool people.
Yeah.
now that I've done this, I have lost a lot of interest in regular contests because it's just so different and so positive.
Yes.
Nobody's bitching at each other. Nobody's attacking each other. Everybody's really nice.
Yeah, there's no, like, that underhandedness and that, like, snarky, passive-aggressive nonsense. Like, there was none of that here.
Mm-mm.
It was all just, like, everybody was, like, so excited to be here and so just, like, honored for the privilege of representing their country and excited to meet all these other people and see all these other crafts and performances and to, like, learn and grow from each other. And it was just, the whole thing was super wholesome.
Yeah, it was very different from most of our experiences in the state. You know, and it doesn't mean that we're not going to do non-international contests. We're just going to be more selective about what we do and what goes where, which I guess we always have been. But show order, so to speak, has to be a lot more specific now than it used to be. Because certain things can't be entered if certain things have won awards and da-da-da-da. So we don't want to enter something that we'd like to try an international first if it wins something and then gets barred. Which the internationals don't care, because one of the things in Europe is they don't care if you've won an award. Don't care. You can enter it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't care.
They're very much of the mindset that it's a contest and it's about what shows up, and it doesn't matter if that thing's won an award somewhere else.
That would be so nice, because then we could, like, be on stage more, because right now you make something and you put tons and tons of time and money into it and then can use it once. Makes it very hard to get on stage. I'm losing a lot to go to regular contests right now, but
I can't imagine why.
I can't imagine why, but I'm sure other people also start to like to go to these, but I see no reason to not take something to an international first, and if it doesn't get it, take it somewhere else. Like, because you only lose the shots you don't take.
Well, and we are both at a very privileged point in our lives where even though time off in the States is terrible, we obviously are able to manage it, and we both have good paying jobs where we can afford to go to these contests and these qualifiers and to extend our holidays out past the initial, like, hey, we're flying you in for this contest on this day, you have to come home on this day, which I know a lot of people don't have.
Well, the other problem is this, and we'll probably talk about this more in our Spain episode, the schedule we were adhered to at this contest really brought to light how disabled I actually am. And I kind of feel like I'm on borrowed time. So I feel like I don't have a lot of time left to do these before I physically won't be able to, because I just turned 38 in September. That's also kind of a reasoning for our switch to focusing on these, is I don't know how much time I have. Which is a little depressing, but hey. Or I just have to be better about asking conventions before we go what their expectation is so that I can ask for accommodations. But I can't really logically see pushing this much past 45, so I'm really limited on how much time I have left. Well, and then the kiddo's going to get older too, which is going to make things hard.
Yep.
We don't feel like we have a lot of time left to do these. I have a feeling we would have done at least one other one if the pandemic hadn't happened by now. But the pandemic took 3 years of our lives away. We are very behind on everything that we would have preferred to do. You know, to round it up, it doesn't mean we won't be at any regular contests, but we will probably be looking at other internationals in the future. We were going to try to compete more, but possibly competing less so that we can focus on the internationals. So we're basically going to go back to our old competing format where you see us once a year, because we're going to be trying to hit the international circuit. However, I'm also considering entering contests with things that might not be perfectly designed to enter a contest, just to enter, which is something that we've always avoided doing. But I'm starting to think that that's silly, because why does it matter if I don't win? I think one of the biggest things I got out of this contest was if you do the right contest, there is a benefit besides winning. And sometimes, because we could only do one contest, one every 1 to 2 years, winning became so important because we couldn't do so many of them. But if you pick the right contest and there's enough other things you're going to get out of the contest, then it becomes less important. I mean, I almost jumped on a contest in a couple of months here, and I started breaking it down and I went, the literal only thing I'm going to get out of this is winning. And if I don't win, I'm going to be super pissed off because I had to take off all this time and spend all this money and didn't win. If there's literally no benefit to this contest outside of me winning, that is not healthy and I'm not going. And it was a hard decision to make because my instinct is, no, go, get another one. But if that's the only thing you're going to get out of it, it's not good for me. So we're also going to try to pick contests that have some sort of benefit outside of just winning an award. And I think that's going to make a big difference in the stress that we get from contests and what we're willing to enter in a contest. Because we used to only enter things that were perfectly crafted for a contest. But what says I can't enter something that I just made XYZ contest because I'm at this con?
Right.
Like, if I don't win, does it matter? We'll see what happens. We definitely restructured every single plan we had after this.
Yes. Lots of them went out the window.
Because we learned a lot about the format we need to start looking at, or formats. You know, we learned that some things are included in performance that we don't include in America that we missed. So we need to work on looking at their format a little bit more and incorporating that more in order to translate to a larger audience. So some things that we thought were going to be major competition pieces have been thrown out because they won't work for these contests. But now we know.
But that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, now we know. And things that we tabled like 2 years ago are now being brought to the forefront because it does work. At an American contest, it may not have worked. The best advice we got this weekend was go and watch the exact contest you're going to try to compete in and see what works. Which we, unfortunately, due to our lives, did not have time to do because we knew we weren't going to have time to switch this anyway. So there was no point. Like, we tried to switch this to something else. It just didn't work. So life did not let us, but we still went and we still did fine. So all in all, we didn't make fools of ourselves.
It was a very rewarding experience.
Yes. But now we have lots more knowledge. The next time should be smoother. We have more knowledge about what we need to do. That should help for the future. But it is very late here and we have to get on a plane in the morning. So we're going to cut this off so I can edit it when we get home so I can post an episode by Sunday.
Ta-da!
Yeah.
That's how much Elle loves you.
We haven't posted anything for like 3 to 4 weeks. So gotta get those downloads.
Well, I am Ash.
I'm Elle.
We are Lauveya Cosplay.
And this is Shit Cosplayers Say. You've been listening to Shit Cosplayers Say, an LVC production. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Podcast SCS. Our website is lauveycosplay.com. Have a fun, crazy con or cosplay-related story, absurd cosplay question, or just something in general to share with us? Email us at podcastscs@gmail.com. Thank you for listening, and remember, just because you can doesn't mean you should.